You know, it is really hard to vlog under these circumstances. It just is. You know, but I think the only thing I can vlog about in this situation is riding. So I'm going to give that a try. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic here to dive through. So fortunately, the seas are being parted for me by at least 3 other bikes, one of which is a CHP. So that's very nice. And I'll just, all of you can come along and help me out and make it through this here, because I like it and I'm getting better at it. But it takes 119% of my concentration and my attention to do it. So I can't vlog about other topics while doing this. I have to pretty much make my words a reflection of what I'm thinking and doing. Now this guy here is a little slow. I'm a little slow. So this guy here, I'm not used to catching up to somebody while splitting. This is a unique experience for me. As a splitter, I always keep an eye on my mirrors fairly frequently and get out of the way. Let's see if he does the same thing. Oh, he is. How nice. Now, I'm not going all that much faster than him. Hey, thank you. And he's right in behind me. Does the same thing I do. Pulls over and then dives right back in the guy who's faster, which you do want to do. Because the guy is faster. A lot of people, not all, but a lot of people, thank you, will do what this guy just did and pull over and give you a little room. And it's nice when they do. And they're like this guy. See, get the occasional person who's actually looking at their rear view mirrors. Oh, I don't like the way this person is looking and leaning and drifting. You really do have to evaluate. I evaluate every car as much as possible when I'm doing this. For just that reason. Now this guy, this is a OCTD. He's just big. Now the interesting thing I've noticed is that big vehicles aren't as scary as you might think, because what people do next to a big car, big truck, a bus, is they tend to get away from them and leave a gap. People have this sort of yardstick between them and the car next to them. Unless this happens. This is enough to keep you awake. Yeah, the guy who I picked up, I think he had enough of people pulling out in front of me. Couldn't take it. Got over. See? Look. See? How many people have done this while I've been splitting here? A couple. You can usually read it happening ahead of time. It's rare that somebody will just, with no warning, lunge over into the gap next to them. That's a very rare occurrence. And you pass them when they're side by side, that's actually safer, because they're less likely to... What was the last time you ever heard of 2 cars just sideswiping each other on the freeway? It just usually doesn't happen. And so if you're in between them, you know, they see each other. They don't see you as a bike nearly as much, but they will see each other if they're side by side. So splitting side by side is safer than splitting between a car and a gap. My experience, no law one way or the other about lane splitting in the state of California. The state of California even says this in the driving code. So if somebody out there says, oh, there's a law that permits it, please, the vehicle driving code of the state of California is online. Put a link to it in the comment down below. State of California says it's not there. I tend to believe them. They also used to have some guidelines. They weren't laws. They weren't. You couldn't be cited for not obeying them. Just guidelines about. They were like your maximum speed difference between you and the vehicles that you're splitting. The maximum speed that you should ever split at, regardless. A couple of other things. Guidelines about sufficient lane width. Common sense, but still, I think the state showed support for lane splitting. Well, somebody complained about that to the state. I read this in an American Motorcyclist Association article. So the state of California has taken those guidelines down. They're no longer on the website or part of what the state of California does in support of splitting. Splitting is still legal. Hopefully they'll be reposted at some point. Perhaps somebody complained because they didn't like splitting. A lot of drivers don't like splitting. It shocks them. People who first move here from other states freak out. Of course, that means they haven't been anywhere else in the world. Splitting is effectively legal every place in the world except 49 states in the U.S. This guy's mirror is immense. Not real happy about the size of his mirror. I'm sure it's very safe. Thank you. This guy's freaking me out, and maybe intentionally.